Hi everybody, welcome to this recording of, well, everything that happened at Bovington, and you can say hello to Spectators.
Yay.
So this is literally what we saw as we walked in. Hello Abad. Hi Abad! Just sitting there greeting everybody next to a Soviet BMPT. Or BMPD, excuse me.
What?
And, oh yeah, there's a little saber tucked. Actually, I think that's a full scorpion. Yeah, it's a full scorpion with a 76.
Run a seal clubbing tank.
Yeah, my favorite steel clever.
Your favorite seal clubber.
Don't ever underestimate the power of high explosive.
Let the power of hash compel you.
Power of hash compels you indeed. So I hope you guys are ready, because basically what this is our trip to Bovington, and from our perspective, we didn't pay for VIP passes, we didn't pay for press passes. I didn't want to pay for that. I actually wanted just to come and be someone. By the way, surprise butt sex to that loader there. That's like the most compromised position I've ever seen a loader in. But we just wanted to see what it was like just to be. I wanted to see what it was like just to be a random person at Tankfest. And all of this was set up for us to go around and look at.
So we did just that.
This footage is recorded with the Contour 2 set on 1080, and then of course it's been rendered together, and then re-rendered with our commentary video over top of it. Now, in the description below, you will find an unlisted link to a raw version of it that has no commentary whatsoever. If you just want to listen to everything going on, as we see the little kid over there on the left. I'm looking at the embankments, and they're trying to get this little kid over here with a British pothead and
so
a Tommy
cute.
gun. He's adorable.
It was so cute.
He's adorable.
They were actually talking about him shooting the Germans or something, which I was like, it was amazing.
Yeah, this is actually what the entrenchment or the forward fortifications would look like while they're waiting on orders, with their tents, and they've laid out a bunch of weapons. This guy's actually talking and explaining to everyone how a mortar works. For those who don't know, it has a pin on the bottom that has a small charge that, when detonated, will send the mortar up into the air, and you have about a 500 meter range before it comes down and explodes. But the British mortars actually work a little differently. So the American mortars, you just drop it in, and when it hits the bottom, it goes. British mortars, you pre-drop it in and then aim, and then you pull the pin at the bottom to get it to trigger the charge to send it up in the air.
So it's a lot safer.
It's a lot safer, but it has a much slower rate of fire. Now over here, I'd asked the people who were in the German soldier
Is that the Prussian flag?
uniforms. Yes, that is the Prussian flag. If they had an STG-44, and sure enough, that's an actual working STG-44.
They were very happy to accommodate us.
More than happy to accommodate us. They also have a Car 98 over there that they know for a fact has served in both World Wars. It has the markings of both its World War I unit and its World War II unit, as well as the updated change in mechanical structure for World War II, but also still has the original World War I parts, and even a World War I bayonet. Here in a minute, he's going to come over here and show it to us up close.
For stabbing people with style.
Again, in the unlisted video in the description below, if you just want to watch without our commentary, you totally can. It's perfectly fine. And I do admit this older gentleman is obviously not in near as good a shape as as anyone would want to be if you were an actual soldier. But yeah, there it is up close. Originally manufactured in 1914, and with the original World War I trench knife bayonet from hell
with the scabbard over it.
That thing is like literally the length of your arm. By the way, it's like putting a sword on the end of a gun.
So basically, you give people an armful.
And you can see down here at the bottom the upgraded World War I parts. I mean World War II parts, the bolt, the firing mechanism, as well as the upgraded 500 meter sight. Yeah, that's right, 500 freaking meters. I don't know why you would want a rifle without a scope to pull 500 meters, but sure. Over here we have the Americans, you know, lazy bastards.
Yep. Yes, you are.
and just the general outlay of how they would set up tents for the night behind the lines. As well as the Germans are on the right, the Americans are on the left. Sophie's like, "Are you sure they're Germans?" I'm like, "That's an MP40. Come on."
Oh, I'm sorry, my eyesight isn't very good.
But how can you not recognize that that's an MP40?
I recognise it if I'm looking at it, but I didn't see it.
You could also buy deactivated stick grenades, all sorts of random pieces of former military hardware. We actually have a Russian helmet now over here in the... I'm not convinced it's a Russian helmet because Russian helmets didn't have padding inside.
This has likely been upgraded to have padding inside, so it's actually comfortable to wear.
Well, no, it's not, because it's there's no welding marks or anything, and this is original manufacturer.
Maybe just had padding on.
Yeah, I'm not used to... I don't correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but Russian or American? You tell me.
I think Russian.
She thinks Russian.
You definitely look like a communist while wearing that.
I look like a communist now.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
I look like a communist now.
Fiaura the communist girl.
Don't do that, please.
Why?
Please no.
Why?
Please no. Could I ask you nicely?
Communism intensifies.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Alright, so here we have the shock cow, Israeli version of the Centurion.
It's an upgraded shock cow with ERA.
Which, by the way, that is actually what ERA looks like.
Yeah.
That's how thick ERA actually is. Hello, Pershing. How are you today? That is the tank that greeted us as we walked into the museum this time around.
We were fingering the ERA.
Now, we're pretty sure they were doing the Tiger Collection exhibit right now, because Tiger 131 probably doesn't run right now.
And, like, the Tiger Collection adverts were plastered everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And wargaming posters.
I kind of wish the museum would invest some money and make the Yag Tiger run again, because I've been to Aberdeen where the U.S. has their Yag Tiger, and when it runs, like, it actually like physically shakes the ground as it drives by. So you're sitting there and then you just start as it just drives by. I've never actually seen a 128 German cannon fired. So
the ammunition is extremely rare, and due to its age, it's probably going to do something to the barrel.
I don't think so. I think the barrels here are incredibly well maintained. There's no rust even inside. We reached inside and actually found that they'd freshly greased the barrels as well. I'm guessing because they fire fireworks out of them occasionally.
It's probably just a working shells then.
But I would like to hear what a 128 sounds like when you fire a blank out of it. And here's some original quotes about the Tiger tank from an actual Tiger crewman, who basically says he can't endorse it because it's a weapon of war and it promotes war. Mm-hmm. And he simply cannot endorse such a thing. And, you know, to have come out of a world war and that's your statement, I think you learned the right lessons.
Yeah.
I apologize for drinking tea and stuff on camera. I'm actually still sick right now from Tankfest, just like Jingles and Pointy Hair Jedi, and basically everybody who went.
I didn't get sick for once.
Fuck your couch.
She's gonna make me sick at some point now, for my purposes.
I'm avoiding kissing her right now. You can imagine how hard that is for me, because I don't want to get her sick.
So the reason why they're doing this Tiger Legacy is because they have 4 out of 5 of the 4 out of 6 of the
Tigers.
So they're missing the Tiger Porsche, of which 1 was left, in which it served as a command vehicle at the Battle of Kursk and was likely blown up, and a Sturm Tigers of which were really rare.
There were only 18 made. In the meantime, we're actually walking through the tank pool. All of these vehicles are going to be moved out today on parade, including the World War I tanks. I don't know how they keep those fuckers running, but they keep those running somehow. We're slowly being herded out, by the way.
Yeah. The Yag Panther at the front.
Because if you get to Tankfest early, you can come in here and you can walk around the motor pool. You can't actually climb on the tanks for safety reasons. Even though we really wanted to. Yeah, really wanted to. Really wanted. I wanted to climb up into a leopard, I'll just be honest. As requested, I got Sophie to stand in front of Fury.
If you didn't know, guys, the leopard one is Renner's spirit animal. She probably has porn of it somewhere.
But yeah, and the British military is here. All of these vehicles are actually in service inside of British regiments that you see in front of us right now. The Sabre and the Warriors and their variants, as well as the I think that's the Swingfire anti-air version. I forget what it's actually called.
That's the Starstreak.
Yeah, the Starstreak. It's the Swingfire's hull with AA anti-aircraft missiles, both radar guided and heat-seeking. As well as the reconnaissance. Forget the name of it, but it's got Roberto on the side of it, so I'm happy.
I believe it's mine resistant.
Yeah, it's mine resistant, and it's designed strictly for reconnaissance, and it's all sitting next to one of the only working Jagdpanzer 4s, or Stug Mark IV.
The Stug Mark IV is completely different from the aircraft.
Yeah, she's right.
The Stug 4 was basically just an updated variant.
But this is the Stug 4.
Stug's gonna Stug!
Fully decked out and repainted and everything in the Battle of the Bulge SS colors. Over there we see a captured T-34 that was originally captured by the Germans and then recaptured by the... This tank has like a huge story.
Mm-hmm.
It was captured by the Germans, redeployed to the Western Front, and then recaptured by the Allies. Without actually being penetrated or destroyed. So it literally was in the Soviet army, the German army, and then in the British army. And then was in the American army, so the Americans could go test it out against the Sherman to figure out how to do modifications to the Sherman, which eventually resulted in some modifications to the E8 post-war. Here we have the Tank Museum curator sitting in the Rolls-Royce armored car, and we're moving on directly. I'm not showing any of the stuff from the show yet. That's towards the end of the video, but this is the
work in progress place, I think.
Yeah, basically this is where the restoration center for all the tanks that are currently being worked on. This is also where Wargaming was hosting its Meet Your YouTube content creators
Did you drink out of this?
and people. So there's a Swingfire.
Did you drink out of this?
No.
Okay.
She's trying to make sure I didn't drink out of stuff so she doesn't get sick. There's a Swingfire with a prop missile coming out of one of the missile barrels. Made Sophie stand in front of it.
Yes.
The quarters in here are incredibly tight and cramped, by the way. So like people going back and forth, it was really hard to get around.
Yeah.
There's also a lot of restrictions for where you can and can't move to prevent people from getting caught inside vehicle areas. That's actually a Panhard Scout wheeled car. Over here, what are we looking at?
That's a ML60.
There's a lot of vehicles just lying here. Most of them actually have their engines removed. They're all sitting over in the corners and under the observation area to have the engines worked on. So I thought for a minute here coming up was my World of Tanks spirit animal, the AMX 1390, and it's really the Panhard reconnaissance 90mm variant, which has the AMX 1390 turret, but it has wheels.
Actually, I'm not even sure if it's that.
And then the 75mm is the one in front. The first one we were looking at is the 90mm. The second one is the 75mm version. I'm not entirely sure what that is, but I assume it's supposed to be aquatic.
It's a late World War II reconnaissance vehicle made by the French.
This is a Panzer III?
Something.
No, Panzer II. This is an upgraded Panzer II with a 30mm cannon and twin machine guns.
That's a car. Jeep.
There's the Excelsior.
Yeah.
It actually exists.
It's a thing.
It's actually. I mean, it needs a lot of work, but it actually exists. There is a. I think that's the Chieftain 900, isn't it? Yeah, the Chieftain 900. Like they didn't make it up. It's right there.
It was originally. I think that was it. It's supposed to be like a chop and armored Chieftain. An export version, of course, for the Middle East and stuff.
Way over there in the corner, I forget which one that is, but I know there's a Conway we're going to walk past. Oh, and I almost mistook it because that huge 120 cannon on it looks like the 183.
The Death Star.
Mm-hmm. So as we're
Some
walking,
more tank booty.
some glorious tank booty. And again, if you guys want to check out the video without our commentary, it's in the description below. This video has the sound muted because there will be some copyrighted music that I'm not sure if the camera picked it up or not during the display show.
In here, in there.
Oh yeah, it's really freaking loud in here. So this is a Centurion.
This is a Centurion target tank
with basically applique armor all over it, used for target practice. And then we get the various Chieftain versions. This is the Chieftain prototype, the original.
That was the FV4002.
So this is what the encased target tank looks like. There's the Conway with the 120mm boomstick.
I think that's the Conqueror's gun.
The same gun, yeah, exact same gun. Exact same gun that went on the Conqueror. Up ahead here we have multiple versions of the Chieftain. I think that's the Chieftain Mark IV, if I'm reading that sign correctly. And over here is another Chieftain. I believe that's a Mark III.
There's so many marks of Chieftain.
And as we come up to here, the Chieftain, I forget which one that is.
I think that was another drone. The one to the right was another drone tank.
That's another Chieftain target tank. And then
if
this
you guys
is...
don't know what a target tank is, basically they use them as targets for missiles and stuff, so they drove them around with a radio control and to see how the missiles performed.
So many, they've got like
so many
dozens of Chieftains. This is a Chieftain, I believe that's a Mark 10 with the applique armor on it. It's not Chopham, it's just simulated applique. There's the Chieftain 900 and a Chieftain Mark 5 sitting across from each other. I do have to admit, I do like the 900's pike nose design. Like that seems like it would be better.
It isn't as extreme angles featured on the Russian one, so it doesn't have such issues with welding and cracks when hit. They had those issues. Yeah.
Here's the back of the Excelsior for you guys, and the back of a Sherman. I think that's the are these both Sherman? That's the Sherman howitzer. The T-14. It's an actual thing. It wanted so bad to be a heavy tank,
but it wasn't one.
It's like, I'm a heavy tank. No, you're not. You're adorable.
The Excelsior and the T-14 were actually competing with each other, and neither of them were introduced into service.
So this is a Sherman with the 105mm cannon and the assault armor package on the side there, designed literally just to roll into the middle of enemy troop formations and infantry defenses and blast away. This is the T-14, by the way, and it is missing. It does have some damage on the tracks. The tracks are basically broken.
You can see where all the added on armor is on stuff, because it's actually a Sherman underneath. It's just a lot of bolted on stuff.
It's a Sherman with a lot of applique armor. Back here, I think, is the Ferret with the twin Milan pop-up turret. Oh, it's a quad Milan pop-up turret. Excuse me.
We need that in armored warfare, definitely.
And we have a bunch of older World War I era tanks, including the Independence. This is not the Independence they've been showing off in the museum, I'm told. That's actually a second copy of it that has yet to be restored. At least that's what I was told by the guys in the museum. And here are all of the engines for a lot of these tanks that they've taken out. This is the Chinese. I think that's the Type 62.
Do you mean the T-62 copy?
Yeah,
and that's the Type 69.
That's the Type. I know it's the Chinese variant. That is an actual AMX-30. That is the actual prototype that was competing with the Leopard 1.
It looks so cool.
She wanted me to get a shot of the tank, but there's another. That's also not a Warsaw tank. Those are both Chinese type variants of the T-54 and T-62.
That is a Strikswagen 91, I believe. No, actually it's an IK-91. It was a light tank made by the Swedes.
That is definitely Swedish. Over here, yeah, I want to show you guys, that is the AMX-30. That is the actual AMX-30. This is the one that was supposedly brought out to the test fields, again, to go against the Leopard 1. That's a Bulldog on our left. There's just so many little cool things. That's actually a German variant of the Bulldog, by the way. That's not an American Bulldog.
I think that's just a Raden. I actually think the name of that tank was just Raden. well, that AFV was riding, it was basically just giving the 30 minimum, like, hey, go have fun.
And then we have, there's a bunch of tanks like back there in the back that we just couldn't get near because they were roped off. But there's just so many cool things.
There's a Lux Spear Panzer to our left, which was the principal West German armoured reconnaissance vehicle for a large number of the Cold War. To our left, when you look at it.
No, I actually don't look at it.
No, you don't look at it.
So this is what it's like to actually just walk through here. The reason I didn't look at it is because there's constantly people walking past me, and I constantly have to like shift my shoulders. That is the what did you call it?
The T-55 Enigma.
Yeah, the Iraqi Enigma.
It is a T-55 which can fire Bastion missiles with its 100mm gun, and it has so much applique and ERA armor installed that if you look at the back of the turret, it has a heavy counterweight, so the vehicle doesn't fall over.
They put that much extra armor on that thing.
Those were actually the hardest fighting units of the Iraqi army during the Gulf
But
War.
you see they've put this massive block of just steel
counterweight.
to counterweight it because it's got so much. I mean, look at this. None of this is ERA. This is all just metal applique. Those are solid about 70mm steel bricks that they've put on the side of the tank.
This is one of those examples of a vehicle that's 50 years old at the time they made it into something new.
And then the applique armor on the turret is just more 50mm thick steel bricks applied around it. The front hull, you'll notice there's like this double hull effect. It actually has two front hulls on it. I think the extra applique armor is as thick as the 70mm side steel bricks they've put on it.
However, some of them were taken off.
Yeah, there's my hand. There's my hand going up on top of that. That's my whole hand. And I know my hand is slightly longer than 7 centimeters, but it's about 70 to 80mm of just steel plate.
That was definitely the coolest vehicle there, to be honest.
We got a Challenger 1 sitting next to it. Calvin and Hobbes. And it's actually, if you looked up that said 91, this tank is actually from the first Gulf War, not the second Gulf War. But yeah, stupidly heavily modified. Little bitty World War One. I think that one's actually Dutch.
We're not sure. If someone knows, say something.
Good old-fashioned iconic German half-track. You see it in the propaganda videos all the time. And this is as close as we could get to a lot of these vehicles, including and there is the T-72. I think that's the 80 hull.
No, that's the T-72 right now.
Are you sure?
Yes.
With the V on the front, with the V water guard.
They all have splash guards.
That is the Rheinmetall 90mm tank destroyer. I forget the name of it in World of Tanks.
It's the Cannon.
Yeah, the Cannon Panzer.
Yeah, the Cannon Panzer.
The Cannon Panzer. That's actually
another Iraqi T-72, by the way, which is a T-72M.
And then back here we have the Chieftain. I think
Just
that's
to give you an idea of how fucking long those things' guns are.
Yeah, that's the Chieftain Mark 7 because it's the first one to get upgraded to the 120 rifle barrel. And here we have
55 caliber.
Now here we have the
Spirit Animal display.
Yeah, the British. First off, it's the British Armed Forces display. They're going to come out, and we're just sitting in the stands. We're not in the press boxes. We're not in the elevated observation post. Nowhere special. This is just what you would see if you went to Tankfest and you sat in the stands. I wasn't trying necessarily to be cheap because I don't see a lot of this experience from the other YouTubers because they're all in press boxes. They all have awesome views of it, and that's what you kind of expect. Now, this is actually what you get. General seating everywhere, by the way, because there's no real seats. You have to bring them. The Kuwaiti arena is nice and big, but at the same time, there's no bleachers or anything. You just stand or sit. I'm actually leaning against the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is kind of what you get.
Unfortunately, the announcer was jacking off to anything that was remotely British made, so it was kind of annoying.
Not to mention the fact he didn't know the difference in a Leopard 1 and Leopard 2, because there's going to be 3 Leopard 1s later.
And he called them Leopard 2s.
He called them all Leopard 2s, and we were like, those are Leopard 1s, you dick!
Yeah.
You work here! Anyway, I'm going to let this play for a little bit for you guys, and we'll be back to recording at a certain point. You guys can just listen to the raw, entertaining audio.
Yeah.
In future, it will have a totally new turret, fitted with the state-of-the-art lighting and communication system. and will also be fitted with the same 40mm stabilised cannon as Ajax. The Warrior today is commanded by Warrant Officer Class 2 Hall, driven by Lance Corporal Colin Cooper, and the gunner is Lance Corporal Billy Taker, all of the ATGU here in Bovington. Challenger 2 is the British Army's main battle tank, and is the successor to the Challenger 1 tank, which served with distinction on operations in Gulf War I and the Balkans. Although they look quite similar, only 5% of Challenger 2 components are interchangeable with those of its predecessor. Challenger 2 incorporated more than 150 major modifications. 120mm rifled main armament gun and second generation Bovington short-distance armor. Challenger 2 makes a consistent improvement was using of an independent 360-degree rotating sight, giving it a hunter-killer capability. The commander can be spotting the next target in any direction while the gunner engages the target, and that has already been in the next target. The gunner can start the same time, starting to locate the rangefinder and further distance. This means that Challenger 2 can fire while on the move across country by day and by night. The combat loading weight of Challenger 2, as shown here, is OES, that is Operational Equipment Standard 4, with all its battle-ready extra armor fitted, is a whopping 74.9 tons. The 120mm L30 gun fires armor-piercing thin runs. Most projectiles mounted 7.62mm tin gun, and the loader can operate the turret-mounted 7.62mm GTSG. The engine is a powerful 1,200 brake horsepower Perkins Condor CD12, giving it a maximum speed of 38 miles per hour. The British Army has 227 Challenger 2 tanks, which assist the Royal Tank Regiment, the Queen's Royal Guards, and the King's Royal Guards. It has a crew of 4, who today are all from the ATGU here in Boston. The commander is Corporal Shannon, the leader, Lance Corporal Davidson, the gunner, Corporal Arthur, and the driver, Lance Corporal Keith. Gentlemen, you're about to see how a Royal Armoured Corps Challenger 2 tank and an infantry warrior work in close operation to assault and neutralise an enemy position. It is shortly from the way, sir, and the Armoured Squadron and Infantry Company Group are about to launch an attack from the Forming Up Point, or FUP, and the fire plan is being executed.
And also point we would also
Battle Group Commanding Officer coordinates the attack by counting down to HR. Hello, Charlie 1, this is Zero Alpha. Take out in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, go, go.
Well, that was weak. Behind the bushes where we
can't see apparently. Poorly positioned.
Maybe they are the wind.
This will tank bypass the enemy objectives and form a ring of steel to isolate it from reinforcement. The infamous support tanks lead the armored infantry onto the objective.
Weak ass gun.
Enemy threat has been identified by the tank of two tanks. Its location has been marked by the armored commander. Please mark the dimensions.
20 degrees. What do you not understand about this?
Hello, India 21 Alpha. You listen to Tango 12 Alpha. Reference my gun barrel, 50 meters. Enemy trench from 2 dismounts. I have possession. The tank and two tanks provide overwatch
actual
to
smoke
the
grenades.
infantry sector.
Not very good, are they?
And their warrior.
They take a second,
They commence their assault. You can see
That's
how
what it looks
close
like
the
after
warrior
a few
gets to the
seconds.
enemy trench.
The troops are now choking
Expanding
inside
its
the
enemy sector. This is deliberate
Talk
as
to
it
you, I think,
ensures
agreed.
that the dismount spends the least amount of time as possible in the open. Roger. Out.
Also, your gun is weak sauce.
Yes, this is why we're making it German, because it's unfair.
That's funny.
Once this fire trench has been cleared, the section will rematch their warrior as soon as possible.
Because 30 years to realise that the Russians no longer have the T-72 as their main battle tank.
Hello, India, C1 Alpha, this is C1 Charlie. This is clear. India, C1 Alpha, Roger, over. Accept position has been identified by tank call right. Mark, I'm prepared to move. Over. Roger, lift up now.
Where's the brochure?
In there. You want to get it?
Ladies and gentlemen, that will have given you an indication of the sort of firepower Tanzu and warrior with his infantry dismount can provide in the assault on an enemy position. The infantry section today are the infantry members of the combat communication. We are now going to see all the British Army vehicles re-enter and patrol. It is fitted with 5 onboard cameras and thermal imaging technology, providing soldiers with a 360-degree surveillance capability that can be used by day and by night. The technology used in this area is so advanced that the vehicle can be operated by remote control, enabling soldiers to clear very dangerous routes from a safe distance. Carrier is commanded by Staff Sergeant Ferris and driven by Sergeant Hinch. Again, both members of the CSW of the Armour Centre. The Royal Engineer Armoured Vehicle, Dark Car, which enable the British Army to move, fight, and fight. Relay and recover. A 24-metre combat bridge, which is capable of supporting an armoured and battle-ready Challenger 2. process will deploy and recover a set of the speed, which can be used to enable armour to stop large cities. Concurrently, Area will clear battlefield obstacles placed by the enemy to try and slow down the advance of our troops and to channel our forces on the ground of the enemy's music. And is still in service now, which means that in some cases 3 generations of soldiers from one family have served on the same cemetery. During the last 46 years, Scimitar has served in the British Army as a reconnaissance and fighting vehicle in the Falklands War, peacekeeping in Bosnia and Kosovo, and both Gulf Wars in Iraq, and of course, most recently, in Afghanistan. In 2010, the contract was awarded for the development, testing and management of an upgraded Scimitar 2 standard version. This was undertaken by Systems in coordinated the build of 50 Scimitar 2 vehicles. These were completed in early 2000 airbag suspension system, allowing rapid movement across varying terrain by raising or lowering the air suspension. It partially equips the Light Cavalry Regiment of the Royal Arms Corps. It has a maximum speed of 80 miles per hour on road or 55 miles per hour over rough terrain. It is designed to protect personnel against roadside explosions and mine attacks. Jackal 2 is armed with a general purpose machine gun, or GPMG, for crew protection, operated by the commander at the front. On top, it can carry either a 7.62mm TNT, a 12.7mm heavy machine gun, or a 40mm grenade machine gun as the main weapon system in the fire support role. Today, it is fitted with a heavy machine gun. Jackal 2 is closely related to the Coyote tactical support vehicle, the six-wheeled Jackal base variant. Jackal, and there is a steering wheel behind that. So the commander can take over the vehicle and steer it out of trouble, again for reconnaissance purposes, because if you're the first going down the road, you're most happy to see such 25 pounders. They decided to hand over building the armoured cars to the British group, so that became Humber, and Humber uses the same chassis as the Guy armoured car, but slightly different turret on top. And the vehicle starts with just a machine gun. This is the Mark IV model, and it's got the 37mm gun that you'll see on that American Fiaura tank. You can shoot quite high. They didn't worry too much about that because they wanted the commander to have a good reconnaissance position. You have to see what's coming. And in the end, they made about 40 airbag suspension system, allowing rapid movement across varying terrain by raising or lowering the air suspension. It partially equips the light cavalry regiment of the Royal Armed Corps. It has a maximum speed of 80 miles per hour on road or 55 miles per hour over rough terrain. It is designed to protect personnel against roadside explosions and mine attacks. Jackal 2 is armed with a general purpose machine gun, or GPMG, for crew protection, operated by the commander at the front. On top, it can carry either a 7.62mm TNT, a 12.7mm heavy machine gun, or a 40mm grenade machine gun as the main weapon system in the fire support role. Today, it is fitted with a heavy machine gun. Jackal 2 is closely related to the Coyote tactical support vehicle.
And that, folks, officially starts Tankfest with explosions, announcements, and the Leopard 1s rolling out onto the field.
Those guys were great at what they were doing.
I mean, it's a show-off of Leopard 1s, and it's really freaking loud. You do the math.
So if you guys don't know, the British had a shortage of armoured cars early in the war, so they asked Rolls-Royce to donate some chassis. So what you have over there is basically a vintage Rolls-Royce with armour and a turret attached.
Pretty much.
And some old men poking out the turret.
And then you see the Leopard 1s rolling onto the field. There's 3 of them, actually.
They're not all the same one either.
One is a A4, one is an A5, and one is an A3. The German one is actually the A3. But it took me a second to recognize them, but based on the turrets, there's the A5 from Brazil with the modified integrated applique armor on the turret. That's basically the applique armor is not actually added on. The turret is actually just built with it on there.
So they basically built a new turret for it.
There is the German version. It's an A3. And the reason I can tell that is because it doesn't have the extra night fighting stuff. And here on the left, I think that is, yeah, no, that's the German version. That's the German version that's coming up. And then passing us right now, going to the left, is the A4 from Mexico, which the Mexican version of the A4 is designed for prolonged desert fighting and has a gas turbine engine as opposed to the diesel. So what you hear on the uncommentary version of this video is a whole lot of diesel revving, and then you hear this weird whine occasionally, and you realize that's a gas turbine engine.
Gas turbine engines are really distinctive.
They all come up here, and it's a nice show of well, Leopard 1s doing what they do, Leopard 1ing.
And they are definitely not Leopard 2s.
Yeah, don't. But that hull and that applique armor dead giveaway. That's a Leo one. The announcer I wanted to like kick. repeatedly. But anyway, I hope you guys have enjoyed this Tankfest video. I could rant on and on, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to let the Leopard 1s play us out. There won't be... I'm going to have to replace the audio, so there'll be a different set of music. And then you guys can just enjoy, hopefully. In the meantime, this has been Fiaura. And my girlfriend, who decided just to add her commentary for shits and giggles. Spitfire. I'll see you guys later this week with a review of AnimeCon, the other convention that I went to this month.
It was really nice.
And hopefully my throat improves. In the meantime, I'll see you guys this afternoon also on Darkest Dungeon. We're going back into the Crimson Court DLC. We're all going to die.
The darkest of dungeons.
And I will see you guys, actually after this recording, I have to get ready for XCOM 2 live stream. But Sophie wanted me to have this all recorded and ready to go, so I just had to hit the button.
Hit the button and go. Also, if you didn't know, the copyrighted music is Du Hast by Rammstein.
Oh yeah,
which, to be honest, is really fitting for the Leopard 1.
Because the German national anthem is totally Du Hast done.
Du Hast.
Anyway, guys, see you guys later.
Bye. Take care.